This is a video, for a Honda Civic 1.8 SI, registered MJ59VLU. Car's had just 2 private owners from new and has covered just 25,000 miles. It's also been serviced 6 times by the Honda main dealers, which is quite extraordinary, but I'll detail that later in the video for you. I'm just going to give a quick walk around the car. As you'd expect, the car's in fantastic condition, but I'll just highlight anything I need to for you. So first of all, just the near side headlamp and fog light, absolutely fine, no marks or otherwise on there. And as you can expect, the front of the car is in lovely condition. Any stone chips are very few and far between. Again, lenses on this side, absolutely perfect. Comes to the offside front wing, again, very good condition. Front tyres, virtually as new, and the alloy wheel completely unmarked. And these are the alloys, the darker shade alloys, which they fit to the SI model, which makes them look so nice. Wing mirror housing, absolutely fine, and all the panel work down the side in really lovely order. Rear tyre again, loads and loads of tread on there, and alloy, I can't see a mark on there anywhere. Just to quickly come down the flank, just to show you just how crisp it is, but it really is kind of mirror smooth down that flank of the car. Coming around the back of the car here, rear bumper's all in very fine order, as is the tailgate, all the lenses perfect. So I'm going to come to the only real mark on the car in a second, but I can assure you this is going to be done before anyone comes to see the car, and we were told by the dealer that the mark was on the vehicle, but I'm just going to highlight it in a second once I've done this wheel. So this wheel, again, unmarked, tyre absolutely perfect. But just to show you here, on this little plastic trim, just little scrays just there, but that is going to be done. That's going to be completely disappear by the time hopefully someone comes to see the car. So the company's booked in to do that over the next couple of days or so. But once that's gone, you'll have a car which is as close to new condition as you'll ever really see one. But all down this flank, absolutely superb condition. Final wheel, tyres absolutely perfect, and this is the only wheel that's got a tiny little bit of curbing just on the outside edge there, and just down that little bit there. But really, it is still a 6-year-old car, but the condition of the car is absolutely superb. Right, coming into the boot area, absolutely huge boot on the Civic. You can see the parcel shelf there, it's all good and intact. What this video probably doesn't really pick up is just how clean and crispy inside of this boot is. Power outlet up there, 60/40 fold on the rear seats. But I said all the upholstery and trim is in absolutely superb condition. As with all these Civics, you've got an extra little cubby hole underneath if you so wish. I'll drop that back and down, and you've got another 6 or 7 inches of boot space. Very clever. Right, just coming to the back of the car now. Rear door card, absolutely superb condition. I've popped the seats up just to show you them in their vertical position. This forms part of what they call the magic seats. Brilliantly clever design from Honda. This allows this huge amount of storage space extra to the boot behind the rear seat. So if you've got anything odd size or mountain bikes, something valuable, you want to pop it in there, you can. Back of the seats, driver's seat and passenger seat, absolutely superb. No marks on them, which means no sort of seats have been feet have been bashing around. Inside here, the car benefits from a full set of Honda overmats on the car. Just drop these down, just pull the lever up, drop it down. Exactly the same on that one. It's all just beautifully engineered stuff as you'd expect from Honda. And the rear seats, got half leather interior on the SI, and it really does look like these seats haven't really ever been sat in. It absolutely clean and crisp as you like. Right, just come to the front of the car now. Driver's door card here, all in very good order. Honda remanufactured these, less prone to wear than the earlier models, with this slightly more metallic-y looking version, and it's all in very fine order. Sill area, absolutely superb, and the driver's seat is in fabulous condition, very comfortable indeed. Come over to the passenger one, again likewise, absolutely superb. It just looks like brand new, that seat. Right, I'm inside the car now with the engine running. Just to quickly pan down, just to show you, we've got the full owner's manual pack and the lock and wheel nut key even still with the car. Just going around the dashboard, I mean, these are wonderful dashboards. More of that on the following road test video, but just to let you know, the plastics are in obviously the finest order in here, in really top condition. 6-speed gearbox, all the plastics down in the center console, absolutely like new. Coming across the dashboard here, we've got this lovely 2-tier dashboard, no warning lights on. You can see the engine is running there, and currently we've got 25,042 miles. This video was done just after I did the road test this morning, but obviously that then follows on with the editing that I do. Multifunction steering wheel, all in really top condition, no marks, no damage or otherwise, but it really is in absolutely pristine condition inside this car. Right, just coming under the engine bay now, just to point out that the engine sounds a lot noisier on the video than it does in reality. It's literally just purring away under here at the moment. Really nicely presented engine bay, wonderful, wonderful engine, but I'll explain more about it obviously on the test drive that follows this video. So finally inside the garage now, we've got the logbook for the car, which just shows 2 private owners, no advisories on the last MOT at all, and this wonderful service history with 6 Honda service stamps at 3,000, 6,000, 9,000, 14,000, 18,000 and 22,000 miles. They don't really need servicing like that, but clearly whoever's had the car's kept the car in wonderful condition. Right, this is the road test part of the video for a Honda Civic 1.8 SI, registered MJ59VLU. Mileage at the start of this road test is 25,033 miles. The purpose of this road test is really for those who are coming a long way to see us. We're now commonly selling to customers from the near continent and the extremes of the UK, so clearly if people are willing to invest time and money to come and see us, I think the least we can do is to ensure that, you know, when you come and see us, you know exactly how the car drives. If there's any issues with the vehicle you're looking at, then I can let you be aware of those before you make your trip to us. What I try and do in these videos is to do or mimic kind of what you'll do yourself when you come and see the car. Obviously when you go for a road test, just kind of one by one and go through the kind of the obvious stuff for you. So with that in mind, I always do it in the same way. I'll start with the engine of the vehicle. This is obviously a Honda 1.8 VTEC engine. They are a wonderful, wonderful engine. It's very, very smooth, very quiet. This is a wonderful example of one. It starts absolutely instantly, settles to a very even idle, no warning lights on the dashboard. The only thing you hear pinging is one of these annoying speed warning lights you can set, which I'll deactivate. When you hit 50 miles an hour it beeps at you, or 30 or 70 or whatever, but the last owner obviously set it for themselves, maybe have an area there to drive up and down. But the engine is a, you know, it's obviously a very low mileage car, so you'd expect the engine to be good, and it doesn't disappoint. It's wonderful. Brilliant engines, very, very reliable. We have very, very few issues with them. Even with, you know, huge mileages on the clock, well over 200,000 miles, they're a strong engine, but they deliver their performance beautifully. It's, as I said, very smooth, very quiet, and surprisingly, you know, for Honda, who are renowned for their kind of very revvy engines, you know, it does all of that. It's very smooth, but I'm doing sort of 50-ish miles an hour, just touch the throttle in 6th gear, and it wants to go. It's got a lot of instant torque to the engine as well. It's a very, very flexible unit actually. There's no, looking at the dashboard now, obviously there's no warning lights related to the engine or anything for that matter. So in terms of the engine, simply can't fault it. The engine then drives to clutch and gearbox. Starting with the clutch is light as a feather, as it should be. The pedal itself has no irritating squeaks or clicks to it. The actual clutch actuation into the engine is utterly silent. There's no change in engine notes or no strange noises, and it bites exactly at the right point on the pedal as well when engaging and disengaging the gears. Gearbox is a wonderful 6-speed manual gearbox from Honda. I mean, they make the best gearboxes anyway, not just in terms of kind of how robust and reliable they are, but in terms of actually using them. I mean, it's so slick. I'm just changing gear for, you know, effect really, but it's just a lovely kind of, it is a very mechanical feeling gearbox, which sounds strange because it should be, but given the fact that most gearboxes, as this one is actually cable operated through to the gearbox itself, quite often you lose a fair chunk of that feel because of the cables. And, you know, certainly some of its competitors can be quite vague, but this has got an absolutely beautiful action to it. They always have, you know, but it's a wonderful gearbox to use. The gears select perfectly, synchromesh, all the gears are absolutely perfect. And again, given, you know, it is a low mileage car, you would expect that to be the case, but it's just nice to have that reassurance. Steering of the car is wonderfully quick and very, very, very precise. Just go through that corner a little bit quicker. It just holds its line absolutely beautifully. There's an annoying ping again, so I'm going to deactivate that because it'll start to annoy me. But there's no vibrations back to the steering wheel. It feels tight as a drum, and there's no vibrations, as I said. There's no hint of any kind of wear under the car, because even with something that's tight and doesn't vibrate, sometimes you get the feeling underneath is just a little bit loose, a little bit tired. Whereas this just feels like, you know, what it is, you know, borderline sort of new in the way it drives. Likewise, the suspension goes about its business very smoothly, very quietly. You obviously hear the bumps you're meant to hear, but again, no kind of aftershocks, no resonance, no feelings that there's sort of little track rods or coil springs or anything, you know, with a little bit of wear in them. It really does ride really very nicely. And of course, this is the facelift model, which they brought out in 2009, and they revised the chassis and the settings to give it a smoother ride, and they've done a hell of a good job on it. It's a very, very, very nice riding car. They also improved the refinement of the car, so it is noticeably quieter. And again, what I try and do when I'm driving at speed is listen out for kind of strange sort of wind intrusion into the car, where you might have a sort of damaged window seal or windscreen seal itself, but it is utterly, you know, it's as silent as it should be in that respect. Really holds the road beautifully, this car. Just pushing it deliberately a little bit harder just for effect. It's just such a natural, neutral balance to the vehicle. It's lovely. Brake pedal, lovely and solid, you know, right at the top of the pedal, but it's really well modulated. It's not kind of oversensitive to shove your nose to the windscreen of the vehicle, and there's no tremors underneath, which suggests that there's any issues with, you know, pads, discs or otherwise. Every switch I've pressed on the car works absolutely perfectly. There's nothing I've pressed that doesn't work. Everything works with that kind of lovely, you know, it's kind of precision made. You know, all the controls have a nice feel about them. There's no kind of wobble to them. You know, I was really surprised. I got on a Golf the other day, and it just felt a little bit kind of loose by comparison. The kind of myth and legend attached to build quality. Honda's build quality isn't based on making you think it's heavily built. They just last the test of time beautifully well. You know, so this is the revised interior. So you've got this new finish on the dashboard here, either side of the kind of the main binnacle. So there's less sun, kind of shiny stuff there, which used to kind of occasionally, with the sun down, would, you know, reflect back to you and would mark relatively easy with the fingernail. So you'd always end up sort of cleaning it. So they revised it for this one. What I love about these dashboards, I mean, it's a brilliant dashboard. Is this, you know, it could be nothing other than a Honda Civic. It's a really lovely design. So you get this two-tier dashboard on the top there. You've got this really lovely high up speedo, so I could, you know, even if I'm looking at the car in front, I can still make out the speed I'm doing out to my peripheral vision. So I just want to extend the engine so you can hear it a bit. Stupid thing. So you got this, yeah, it's, you know, really lovely high up display. You know, for safety reasons, it's brilliant. You can take in that information. As I'm looking ahead now, looking at the signs ahead, I know exactly the speed I'm doing. Such a clever design. To the right of the speedo, you've got a little econometer, which shows me like little green lights, tells me I'm driving nice and economically. And to the left, you've got a rev warning light, just so you're getting close to the red line of the car if you're really pushing on, obviously to save you sort of damaging the engine or waiting for the fuel shut off to kick in. That's also now got a little rev light, gear engagement light, so it just reminds you to change up or down if the engine's either labouring. It's a bit of a gimmick in all honesty. Below that, in a more conventional way, but looks really good, you've got this main binnacle down here, and it's got kind of this hologram or floating dial effect where you've got this lovely big dominating rev counter, And in the middle of it, information display system, which you can scroll through using this button here. To the left, the temperature gauge, which is exactly the right spot. About a third of the way up is where it should be on the Civics at any given time. And to the right, the fuel gauge there. But it's a really brilliantly designed dashboard. It looks fantastic even now. It looks even better at night when it's all illuminated, and it really is a work of art. But what it is not style over function. It's quite the opposite. It's designed to work, and to work, you know, effectively for the driver, to minimise any kind of time you have to take your eyes off the road to operate any of the controls. As I said previously, there's no warning lights illuminated on the dashboard. You know, it's been a very well looked after car. It is a very low mileage car as well, so clearly this test drive, you know, not entirely necessary, but as I said, you know, for the reasons we do it is you know, there's plenty of garages, it seems these days, from what we're told by customers of ours, who when they go and see them, the cars don't drive right, or they didn't tell them about something. We just want you to know that if you're coming to see the car, that it drives as it should. And I've got to be honest, I can't fault the car, but you know, I wasn't expecting to have to. It arrived literally within the last half hour to our garage. It was driven to us from a dealer who bought the car. So this is my first time in it, and it said it drives absolutely beautifully. In terms of kind of performance and engine and economy, I mean, basically, we are on the side of caution. The manufacturer, and Honda, to their credit, unlike a lot of manufacturers, don't go for wildly optimistic claims on fuel economy. They go for what they know you'll definitely achieve. You know, 43 to the gallon is very, very easy. The only time you won't do it, clearly, is if you're just doing pure town driving. You're going to be mid to high 30s, which, you know, by any comparison, is still very, very good. But if you're mixing up your driving as I do, I tend to do a bit of country lane driving to get into work, a bit of motorway, then I hit the urban crawl every morning into Bristol, and you know, I can get mid 40s very, very easily. More gentle driving, you know, 50 to the gallon is utterly achievable, and we've got many of our customers achieving that. We don't claim it because, you know, it's not right to do so, because it's all about how you're going to drive the car. If you utilise the torque of the engine, get into 6th gear nice and quickly, you can get some amazing economy out of them. Worth pointing out again, I try and do it in the text of the advert, that these engines are chain driven. They don't have a cam belt, so there's no cam belt service on them. And I said they have a hell of a reputation for reliability and longevity. You know, so it's a great, great car for any prospective owner. So with that in mind, basically that concludes the video. I hope it's been of use to you. If there's anything I've missed out on this, the walk around video, or in the text of the advert, then please don't hesitate to give us a call.